Hey, what's up guys and gals? It's the Tyrant here. Happy Saturday to you and welcome back to my weekly Q&A session where you guys ask the questions and I give you the answers. Always my favorite time of the week. I get to sit down and just talk with you guys. It's so cool. It's going to be a little bit of a short one today. As I mentioned last week, this weekend I am at PAX Prime 2017 in Seattle. I'm really excited. It's 343 Industries' backyard and it's been about 5 years since I've been to Seattle, so I'm really excited. And if you guys see me there, don't be shy. Come up and say hi. It's always good to see you. So we're going to go ahead and jump right into this. If you don't know how to submit a question, real easy. Just submit it in the comment section below if you wanted to appear in next week's video, or you could hit me up on Twitter at MythicTyrant. A link to my Twitter feed can be found in the description below. So let's go ahead and jump right into this. Our first question comes from Relius99, and Relius asks, in Halo Wars 2, how do you feel about Lasky being added as a hero? I'll be straight with you. I don't think Lasky really is one. I like the fact that he sides with the Chief in Halo 4. You know, he kind of takes his side, gets him that awesome Pelican and the mission shutdown, and pretty much lets him do whatever in Halo 5. So that's cool. I like Lasky as a character. I just don't see him as a hero. But that's a great question, though, Relius. Thank you. Our next question comes from HOLICE KADERLI III. And HOLICE asks, I watched your Everything Wrong with Halo 5. Oh, thank you, HOLICE. I appreciate it. And liked it. There is one flaw at the end of the game that you pointed out that got me thinking. Do you think that there are multiple fragments of Cortana still around? That's certainly possible. As you saw at the end of Halo 2, she split herself off into several different pieces when confronting the Didact. I don't know if I would see that as a main point of interest in Halo 6 or Halo Reclamation or whatever it's called. It could be. You know, there could be a Cortana versus Cortana fight. That would certainly be interesting. I don't know that that's the direction they're going, though. But it's an interesting concept and one that's definitely worth thinking about. So thank you, Hollis. I appreciate your question. Our next question comes from Timothy Wiles. And Timothy asks, do you think we'll ever get or even convince 343 to release more maps for Halo 2 Anniversary? The short answer is no. Halo 2 Anniversary, or the Master Chief Collection in general, is about 3 years old at this point. It wasn't very widely received positively, so I don't think they're going to put a lot of time and effort to that. I think that it's pretty much a done deal for them. I think that's at least part of the reason they're releasing, or at least making Halo 3 and Halo 3 DST backwards compatible for Xbox One and Xbox One X. Aside from the fact that there's no Halo 3 Anniversary this year, which I think a lot of people were sort of expecting. So I don't think we're going to see any more updates with that, but you never know, right? Okay, if they ever release it for PC, maybe someone else will create some new maps for it. So that's a great question, Timothy. Thank you. Our next question comes from Michael Raymond. And Michael asks, how would you feel if Halo got rebooted? No. Forget it. Halo is not Spider-Man. What, they rebooted that franchise, what, like 3 times now? In short, I don't think they could really do that well with a video game. Doing a remaster is one thing. Rebooting it completely is something else. I think a lot of people, especially given the number of Halo fans that are out there, would just rebel against the entire idea. I think the current one is fine. They're still working on the current one. And to be honest with you, most people consider the original trilogy to be the best. So I definitely think that would be a big mistake on 343's part, or whoever would do it, if Halo got rebooted. But that's an interesting concept. Hopefully people will think about that in the future in terms of what not to do with Halo. So thank you, Michael. I appreciate the question. Our next question comes from Jason Fisher. And Jason asks, do you think Arbiter or Locke will die in Halo 6? No. I think the next major death in Halo is probably going to be Master Chief. I know a lot of you guys don't like that, but I always assumed that he would have a hero's death because I can never see Master Chief retiring, especially since he's been training for combat his entire life. That's all he knows. It's already mentioned in outside lore before, even though I don't typically go for outside lore, that he always feels uncomfortable when he's in a ship or when he's not in control of the situation. So that would be the next major death I would think of. I can't think of them killing off Locke. You know, he's not really that established of a character, and I think there's a lot more they can do in terms of expanding the Arbiter story. So that's my opinion, but it's an interesting question to think about. And let me ask you, what brought you to that question to begin with? I'm just curious, Jason. So thank you for stopping by, my friend. Our next question comes from that guy across the street. I always get a little paranoid when I see this name pop up, but he asks, do you think that Noble Six backstory could be expanded upon in some way, such as a novel? Possible. It's certainly possible. They did already confirm at 343 that Noble Six is no more. So I guess the only way to expand on Noble Six's story would be go backwards from Halo Reach. Personally, though, I would rather see a game than a novel. I mean, a novel would work, I guess, but it could be something they would consider after doing the next major Halo installment. Once the Reclamation saga is over, I think they need to expand on other aspects of the universe, backstories of different characters, focusing in on different situations that led up to all the events of the Halo series. That's my personal opinion. I'd love to see a game out of it. And what about you, guy across the street? Sorry, I laugh every time I say that name. What would you like to see? Would you rather see a book or would you rather see a game? Let me know in the comments below, my friend. Our next question comes from Mark Rose. That's a cool name. And Mark asked, do you think that the Sentinels will replace the Prometheans, or do you think that they might work together in Halo 6? Well, that's a good question. From what I can tell so far, it looks like we'll be on a Halo ring in Halo 6, or at least a Halo ring, not a Halo wing. That would be cool. Will be a part of the story in some way, shape, or form. If that's the case, the Sentinels could certainly play a role in it, and of course, since they're pretty much on the same side as the Prometheans, I believe, I can see us fighting them in Halo 6. It would be cool, though, because there are a lot of variations of the Sentinels we haven't seen in a while. Halo 2 sort of fleshed out the Constructors, the Enforcers, the different types of Sentinel aggressors. I'd love to see all those make a return just to beef up the variety a little bit. But what about you, Mark? What do you think? Would you like to fight them in Halo 6? Let me know in the comments below, my friend. Our next question comes from Pilot BT7274. And Pilot asks, are you going to buy the new Xbox One X? If I can afford one, my friend. I don't really know yet. Xbox One X is basically just an advanced or beefed up Xbox One. I don't have a 4K television either, so that wouldn't really benefit me. I am running out of space on my current Xbox, so, I guess that could help. I don't think I would buy it upon release, though. As long as I can still play Halo 3 and Halo 3 ODST when they become backwards compatible on my current Xbox One, that should last me for a while. If I do buy an Xbox One X anytime in the near future, most likely it wouldn't be till next year. But what about you? Do you plan on getting a new Xbox One X, or are you interested in any other consoles like the Switch? Let me know, my friend. Our next question comes from Jeremy Bowers. Always good to see you, Jeremy. And Jeremy asks, hey, Tyrant, I've been listening for a while now. Oh, that's always good to hear. And I got to play Halo CE for the first time in 2002 and have played since. I want to ask a fellow longtime Halo fan, what is the one thing Halo needs to do to get the massive love and attention it got back in the day? In your opinion, of course. Great channel, man. Oh, I appreciate that, Jeremy. Well, I'm going to tell you right now that I don't think Halo is ever going to be as big as it once was, just because you have to remember, Halo was the launch game for Xbox. It had no real competition at the time. I think the first major competition to come along for Halo was Call of Duty in 2004. And of course, that's when Halo 2 came out. And as time has gone on, they've had a lot more competitors. People have taken notes from Halo and have basically built their own universe based off a lot of the mechanics that Halo introduced. And so you have a lot more choices now than you did back in the day. And of course, it doesn't help that Bungie and Microsoft sort of had their divorce. And so now you've got part of the old community that's still, with Bungie playing Destiny, and then you've got part of the community here at 343, and then you have a very small pocket of people that try to keep up with both but really can't, commit their time as equally as they used to. So my personal opinion is, hopefully the next Halo game will be a big enough success that it'll bring in new people. I don't think we're going to get a lot of the old folks back. People who left back in the days when Bungie left Microsoft and they no longer have a partnership. I think they're gone to stay, as far as I'm concerned. But maybe the franchise can continue to get new members of the series. Again, this is going to depend a lot on their next Halo title, because they've had kind of a slogfest in the last few years, if you will. Not that the games were bad, but they didn't necessarily pander to the old community, and it's difficult to do with a video game. How do you move forward without making a carbon copy of what you had before? How do you innovate without separating or alienating your fan base? And I deal with that too right here. The only thing that I can think of is the main thing that'll bring them back, all right, is community involvement more than anything else. When there was such a great community back in the days of Bungie, primarily because of the large amount of activity Bungie did with the community, how involved they were with the community. You would always see them in the forums with you. They were always listening to feedback. They were giving fans recognition. And 343 is currently trying to do that. They're currently working very hard to get more involved with the community, and I think really that's going to be the key right there. Not only do they need to make a great Halo 6 or Halo Reclamation, but they need to make sure they stay constantly actively involved with the community and just reaching out, making sure they're listening to that feedback, making sure they're communicating. If they can do that, then Halo still has the chance of having a future beyond Halo 6. So that's a great question, Jeremy, and thanks for stopping by, man. And our final question of the week, our star question, comes from my good friend Jeremy Spaulding. Always good to hear from you too, Jeremy. We have 2 Jeremys on the site. And Jeremy asks, Tyrant, I know you hate Halo 2. Yeah, that's a given. And he puts in parentheses, for all the right reasons, might I add. Well, thanks, Jeremy. But do you at least think the storytelling was the best this franchise has ever experienced? You know, he brings up an excellent topic. When I did my video about Halo 2 a couple of weeks ago, about how much I hate the game, I didn't highlight the positive aspect of it enough. I mentioned it, but I didn't highlight it enough. You know, a lot of people started with Halo 2. You know, that was the first Halo game. And I envy those people, because if you started with Halo 2, you didn't have all the experience prior. You didn't have expectations, especially if you weren't keeping up with the marketing campaign. If Halo 2 was literally the first game you played and you knew nothing about Halo prior to that, then you probably had a ball playing it, because if there's one thing Halo has always excelled in, with maybe the exception of Halo 5, it's the fact that they have such a rich and deep universe with excellent storytelling. And Halo 2 was an excellent story by itself. Very well told, had excellent characters. You had a gradual introduction to the Master Chief and the Arbiter, about their history, what brought them to this point in that particular game. You had a little bit of backstory of Halo Combat Evolved, so if you hadn't played it yet, it wasn't that big of a deal. And that was a great thing to do. The music was on par. It was constantly matching up with the tone of the game itself, with the action, and there was just a nice steady incline leading up to the climax of the game and its resolution. And of course, even though it had a to be continued, it still felt like a full game. And to be honest with you, I don't know if you've seen my Halo 5 Guardians review yet, but I actually compare Halo 5 Guardians to Halo 2 and use Halo 2 as a positive reference. I even made a joke in the video that I said I would shoot myself the day I ever paid a compliment to Halo 2, or said that Halo 2 was better than another Halo game. And so definitely check that out if you haven't seen it yet. Just look up MythicTyrant Halo 5 review and it should pop up. I did a nice little parody of Mr. Plinkett from Red Letter Media. And so Halo 2 does have an excellent story, and I think that my issue with it more than anything isn't just the game itself. It's all the experience I had prior to it and everything that I'd come to expect from the franchise. And if Halo 2 had actually gotten on par with that, then it would be a different story. But it was a very different turn of events from Halo Combat Evolved. And my understanding is that they never really planned on making a sequel. It was just supposed to be Halo Combat Evolved, and the rest came later. Again, that's just what I hear. I do not know that for sure. But to answer your question, yes, if I were to rate Halo 2 by itself, it definitely had a fantastic story and one of the best, if not the best, in this series. So that's a great question, Jeremy. I appreciate you asking that. And why don't you guys tell me in the comments below, what is your favorite Halo game strictly story-wise, if you were to leave all the other Halo stuff out? Or you know what, don't. Put the other Halo stuff in there if you want to. You can let me know in the comments below, or hit me up on Twitter at MythicTyrant. A link to my Twitter feed can be found in the description below. And if you like this video and you want to see more and you want to stay up to date on all your Halo news, tips, tricks, and secrets, click that subscribe button for more great content every single day right here on MythicTyrant.com. I hope you all have an excellent weekend. Thank you guys and gals so much for watching. I'll catch you right back here next time. And as always, I'm the Tyrant, signing off.